Good evening, Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the District 8 Spring 2010 Evaluation Contest. How was dinner? Okay, good. DJ Randall, Contest Master, are you ready to come tell us about the new
I'm ready.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Welcome to the District 8 Evaluation Contest. I'm so happy to see each and every one of you. And just being able to see you is a good thing. The next privilege that we'll have is to hear from our pattern speaker. And our pattern speaker today is Anitra Jones. And she will be giving a speech titled, Have You Ever? Have You Ever? Anitra Jones.
Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. Have you ever been sitting at your desk at work, daydreaming, either looking out the window, looking down the hallway, looking at your shoes, thinking about that special person in your life? You know the person I'm speaking of. That person that makes your heart pound and your stomach just knot up. That person that you can hear their voice over everyone else's voice. You know exactly what person I'm speaking of. The person whose footsteps you can hear coming down the hallway. Click-clunk, click-clunk, click-clunk. That special person that on occasion you just want to reach up and just give them a good shake. See, when I first started describing this, I know many of you thought you were thinking of someone that you really loved, maybe a high school sweetheart, or someone that you're currently involved with. But if you have ever managed people, then you know exactly the person I'm talking about. That person that just drives you up a wall. So the reason that I'm bringing this topic to you is when you think about that person that drives you crazy, 9 times out of 10, you're also thinking, am I in the right job? Have I ever found my passion? Do I need to switch jobs? Because if I don't, I'm going to kill them. So about 6 years ago, Paul Brunson did a study with 900 people from varying backgrounds and varying age groups. And it was discussing with them how they were able to move past the fears, move past all of their failures, their doubts, to actually find their true passion in life, that true call. And I'm going to give you several points today on what they were able to do to actually move past those fears and move into their call. Now, when I share this with you, I actually am talking to myself as well. See, about 9 years ago, I don't know if you all remember this or were stricken with this, there was a really horrible strain of the flu going around. I was out of work for 3 solid weeks. Lost 11 pounds, couldn't get up, couldn't drink water, didn't want to hear anything, let alone smell food. During that time period, I had a dream and I was playing a game. Many of you might remember James Avery. He was the father and the judge on the sitcom The Fresh Prince. In the dream, I was playing this game with James Avery. I have no idea why he was in the dream of all people. I could see the board clearly. I could see the pieces on the board. And when I woke up, I thought, wow, that'd be a really cool game to play. And I went on my merry way. Went back to work, felt better. Every day, I thought about that. Every day, that dream came back to me. It took me 2 months to realize that game did not exist. It was not on the market anywhere. So then I started pursuing it. I thought, well, cool, I'll bring it to the market. And after a couple of years, I thought, hey, this is too much work. So needless to say, that game is sitting on my shelf right now in my closet. But there are a couple things I would like to share with you to encourage you as well as myself. The first thing is, Know that the fears that you have when you are pursuing your dream, your passion in life, can also yield some irrational misconceptions. Most people feel that if they pursue their dream, they're going to end up in the poorhouse. They're going to go bankrupt, they will be penniless, they're going to lose their home, the dog, the cat, even a spouse. The other fear that comes up is you're going to start down this path and somehow you won't be able to turn around. You'll get down too far, you'll be too much invested, and you won't be able to turn around. Know that we spend about 70% of our emotional energy being concerned about something that only happens 10% of the time. So that's the first point. Know that when you are pursuing your passion, don't give in to those fears. The second thing is, you don't need to wait for clarity. You don't have to wait for this huge sign, a lightning bolt in the sky, as if God himself is going to get up off his throne, part the heavens, and look down and say, John, start your dog walking business. The fact of the matter is, when you have that passion, it's already inside you. Even the talents, the abilities that you need are already there. You just have to develop them. Look to the people around you. If you're concerned about, maybe I don't have enough money, maybe I don't have the right backing, maybe I don't have this, maybe I don't have that. We come up with all types of fears. Do your homework, do your research. You have people around you that are more than willing to help you. And lastly, don't give up. Too many people give up right before that breakthrough comes. Instead of pursuing another job title that may give you more money, but is going to give you more headaches and more of those special people that we have in our lives, trying to impress a group of people that you don't even care about. Don't pursue the title. Start pursuing your dream. And if you think about it, the next time you're at work and you're thinking about that special person because you hear their footsteps coming down the hall, clunk, 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 let that sound propel you out of your chair and down the path to finding your happiness, your purpose, and your passion. If you remember the slogan by Nike, just do it. Mr. Contest Manager.
This time, I'd like to ask our panel speaker to come up, and I have some questions that I would like to ask her. Anita, in your bio, I see that you received an MBA in International Management. Now, I would like to ask you, where have you been internationally to use your management?
That was the goal to actually.
Can y'all hear her? Okay.
That was the goal to actually join a company like Givenchy, the perfume company, and manage some people or manage products in Paris. As a part of my MBA program, I actually spent 5 months in Paris. And according to my mother, who financed most of the trip, she thinks I was on vacation. Because while I was there, I wasn't sure when I'd get a chance to come back. So I went to Germany and London and Switzerland and Amsterdam. So needless to say, I haven't gotten a chance to use the MBA internationally, but I did have a wonderful time.
And the last question I'd like to ask, I see that you like cooking. Can you share with us your favorite dish and where was it prepared?
While I was in Paris, I learned how to cook salmon in a beurre blanc sauce. So you poach your salmon and then you make this wonderful white wine sauce with butter and heavy cream and shallots, and some of you know it, I can tell, I see you shaking your heads. And as long as you prepare it with love, there are no calories and no fat.
Anita, on behalf of District 8, we want to thank you for presenting us with a beautiful speech have you ever? And I have never.
DJ, District 8 Toastmasters, and especially you, Arnett. Wonderful speech. Have you ever? You really got my attention early on when you said, have you ever? And then you began to set the stage, and then you got us with that twist. That special person, well, you know, the one that makes you not want to act nicely or something to that point. Then you gave us several points for us to follow our dreams and to take off and try and become the person that we all hope to be. And then you finished off, let that sound propel you. You did a call to action, and then you really drove it home with the Nike slogan, just do it. Normally I would start with the objectives, but in a contest we're not allowed to know those objectives. But some of the things you did very well was, I love the way you connected with the entire room. Not just with your voice and some of the rhetorical devices, which I'll come back to, but also with your eye contact. I noticed you moved all the way around the room and engaged everyone in the room very well. You also, as I said, used speaking devices such as humor, rhetorical questions, and then also making statements that we could all relate to, which drew us in and made us all sit on the edge of our seat to hear what you had to say. Couple things you might want to consider for the future. You move well, but you need to start thinking about moving with a purpose. Every one person out in the crowd and looking them straight in the eye and making that point to them, you are a little bit in transition. You want to come to a stand and make that point to one person, and that makes it to everyone in the room. Also, I kind of got lost a little bit in your points. You started off with the first 2 points about irrational feelings and then can't turn around. And then you transitioned into 3 other points and finished up with don't give up. And I kind of lost the continuity on that. So you might want to make that work a little bit better as far as keeping everybody on the same page. And then I may have just got lost on my own. But your greatest strength today was your engaging conversational quality and your great voice quality. You have a voice that just absolutely grabs everybody, sort of like Oprah does. And we all can relate to it. So in summary, I love the way you connected with the audience in many different ways. I love the way you used numerous speaking devices to help connect with them. Also, things to work on is starting to move with a purpose rather than just moving comfortably and freely. And also, check your points out so that it's easier for us to follow your main points. And then finally, a conversational, great tone of voice is just one fantastic asset that you possess. DJ.
Our next contestant, Vern Beckman. Vern Beckman.
While driving down here this afternoon, some 85 miles, farmers were in their fields planting soybeans. You could see the spring corn starting to pop up. And getting here today, we saw Arnita probably in the springtime of her Toastmaster career. That's to a guy in his fall career. Obvious. We saw a gal not in the springtime of her Toastmaster preparation with her presentation. She did a great job. The reception, the presentation. Obviously, she's been through the manual. She hit all the basics. If I were to talk about the audience reception, her style, the word usage, her enunciation, her smile, that beautiful smile that she used. If I tried to criticize any of that, it would be pure, adulterated fiction. Couldn't do it. There'd be nothing to criticize or to evaluate about that. She's too good. We've all had that problem before as an evaluator. What do you say? You know, here's a gal that's done everything right. She's paid her dues. She's a Toastmaster. She deserves to have a good evaluation. She deserves to have something right. She deserves to have some advice as to how she can improve. Arnita, this is just one man's opinion of what you could do to improve your speech. Mr. Contest Master, ladies and gentlemen, Arnita did a great job. What she can do to improve, I think. You know, she caught our attention with a great opening story. Have you ever? And then used humor throughout with that. Have you ever? And carried it through. And I would suggest when she ended, you pulled Nike out of the air with just do it. If you could have somehow worked have you ever in at the end and tied a little knot around that whole speech with have you ever again and forgotten about Nike, then I would have thought, there's a perfect speech. But all in all, I have never heard a beautiful speech like you gave us. Mr. Conley.
Our third contestant, John Murphy. John Murphy.
Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Anitra Jones. I really enjoyed your speech tonight. You have such a great smile, a warm smile, and that helped you engage tonight's audience. So my evaluation tonight, I grouped into 3 different parts. I got some positive things to say. I have some specific suggestions, mostly one specific suggestion for improvement, and then I'm going to end with something positive as well. Just like you started with your opening, I'll also start with an opening. I felt the opening was a form of verbal jiu-jitsu, in that you were leading us down a path of the loved one. You had evoked all these feelings in us. We all have loved ones in our lives. And you were pulling our heartstrings with different things that you said. And then especially you personified the footprints coming down the hall, ka-clunk, 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 which we also used later in the speech. I don't know. So I like classical music. There's Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. There's this dun 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 dun, and that's actually death. Not that. You still had me at that point because there's some relationship for love and hate. And you still had me at the good, I want to give him a good shake part as well, because sometimes everyone feels like that as well. But then you spun it around after you had introduced the subject, after you had established rapport with the audience, after you had gotten our attention, and you said, it's about jobs. My speech is about jobs. I loved your humor. There's a certain formula for giving humor to people, and that is the setup, the pause, the punchline, and then the pause. And every time you did that, there was 3 examples I have. John, start your dog walking business. Pause. Laughter. Too much work in the office. You paused. There was laughter. You're going to kill him. Pause. Laughter. So you did it many, many different times. To improve your speech, I have one specific suggestion, a big one. What I heard was a dream, and then you're playing with James Avery, the game. So in a speech that starts with a question, have you ever, that's abstract. Your dream is abstract. So you're looking for a way to make it concrete and real to all of us. So what I suggest is you rearrange it. Mention the fears first, then tell us the dream. And then once you tell us the dream, instead of being unsuccessful, you give us an example of not being successful. Make it successful. Make it up. We don't know. And then use your thing. Don't give in to your fears. Example. Don't wait. Example. Don't give up. Example. And then you really hit us hard. In a short speech, you have to do that. My other specific suggestion, wait for the contest master to sit down before you greet him. I love your humor, your great smile, the clunk. You brought us back to the beginning and the end at the same time. So in review, the verbal jiu-jitsu introduced the subject, got our attention, great humor, reorganized the body for increased effectiveness, and you left us with hope. Mr. Thomas.
Our fourth contestant, David Mallory. David Mallory.
Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, especially you and Arnita. Have you ever? Very catchy title. I like that right off the bat. I like good titles. That was one that piqued the audience's interest and drew us in. Your stage presence was very good. You moved back and forth and used all the available space. That was good too. Your no nervousness that I saw at all. Good pace. It wasn't fast. It wasn't too slow. Very good there. Your use of the stage, I mentioned, was good. Facial expressions, no notes. I love your basics were really down. Eye contact was great. Because you didn't use the notes, you had the speech memorized. You could talk to people in the audience. Great basics. You got the basics down. I noticed three things that I thought would help, to me, bring the speech to the next level. One was the organization. It just seemed just a little bit off to me. The intro seemed a little long. At first, I thought the purpose of your speech was an entertaining speech, which was perfectly acceptable. But then it seems to me like almost halfway into it, you kind of switched to an inspirational speech. So I realized, oh, this is not an entertaining speech, it's an inspirational. So I would recommend shorten up that introductory part just a little bit so that it's a little more obvious, oh, we're here to be inspired, to get encouraged to do something. And second, your gestures tended to be subdued. There was a lot of this. Every once in a while you would break out. There was a notice where you talked about God parting the heavens and you used more gestures. I like that. I would encourage you to try to use a little more of those where you use whole arm, whole body gestures instead of just your forearm. That was good. And then the other thing I would think of is what I call the wow factor. You've seen the commercial where the guy takes his very distinguished gentleman, goes into a department store to look for something, and he's got his list. And he looks, wow, that's a great price. That thing just grabbed the audience. I liked your style, but it was, to me, it lacked that grab them and make them really want to jump up and do something. Again, you have the basics down. That was terrific. And I congratulate you on a wonderful speech, and I look forward to hearing your next speech.
To come and for his content. Did y'all know he was a comedian? No. Yeah. He didn't say that on here. But they is a comedian because he's always energetic and enthusiastic, and he always have good words for everybody. But I see on here that you have a passion for the American Civil War history. Are you a history buff, and what's your favorite battle?
Oh, favorite battle.
Now you can use this? Yes.
Brother, hear me? Mr. Contest Master, appreciate that. I have long been a student. I like to consider myself an amateur student of the Civil War. while we were here, my wife and I took a little extra time. We came here last night and got to see the Abraham Lincoln Museum down in Springfield. If you haven't seen that, I highly encourage you to take it in. It is wonderful. And I really studied the entire war. My favorite battle or part of the war is whatever I'm studying at the time, really, because I find something fascinating and new each time. Thank you.
Thank you, David. And I would just like to say thank you for participating, and I would like to present you with this certificate. Thank you so much. Next, I'd like to call up John Murphy. Now here it says that some of your interests are eating, sleeping, and creative arts. Now, eating and sleeping, can you explain that?
I guess I'm just a earthy kind of guy. I love eating and sleeping and creative art. So my brother sends me pictures of his 2 little girls all the time. And the ones that I've kept after receiving 300, 400 pictures are a picture of his oldest girl with spaghetti all over her face, all over the floor, and she looks like a spaghetti monster. So it's food, and it's creative arts. And the youngest now has, I have a picture of her with a muffin, and she loves muffins. She loves the Muffin Man, the Muffin Song, all that stuff. So I have a picture of her, but I'm waiting for even a less clean, a dirty picture of that, where she's just got food all over the place, and I think that'll be nice. But yeah, food, sleep, basic things, oxygen.
Okay. May 20th. Tell us about that.
Yes. So, heartstrings. Somebody comes along in your life and you find yourself following them around. And next thing you know, you're married. But yeah, or she gets a restraining order. Right, you got to overcome that. You got to stay the course. Yeah, May 20th. So the 20th at 10 a.m. in the year 2010. It's going to be at the Holy Infant in Baldwin, Missouri. So.
Well, we wish John luck.
Everyone's invited.
And now next we will have Bob Durkin. Bob has been a member of Crossroads Club, and I've seen Bob out and about, and I was sharing with him today how his teachings have just continued to flow. But one thing here that I never heard you talk about, baseball and football. Are you a sportsaholic or what? Can you share it with us?
You notice the people who really know me, like James, are about ready to lay an egg because she's heard me talk about baseball a lot. Fortunately, she's a big White Sox fan, so she's somewhat tolerant of it, especially the year that the White Sox were doing so well. This year she might not be so tolerant because the Cardinals, at least till they run into Philadelphia, are doing great. Buy your playoff tickets now because they're going to be there. But yeah, baseball has been a big passion of mine, as most people who know me pretty well know. They go, oh, just don't ask him about baseball or his grandkids, because we'll talk forever. I'm trying to figure out how to write the good contest speech that doesn't include either one of those.
Paula Byrne Beckman. Now, Bert, you and I have never met, and I know nothing about you. So you need to tell me something because I don't have a sheet here.
You got my name spelled wrong.
On here, yes. We know. It was after I want to know about you.
Well,
What's your favorite hobby? What do you like to do? Tell us about you.
I like Toastmasters. I've been a Toastmaster for 35 years. When we had the district conference in Decatur, I think it was a couple of years ago, I won the free hotel room because I was there the longest. I'd been in Toastmasters the longest, and I didn't have to drive home in that ice storm because I stayed that night for free at the hotel.
Thank you very much.
What I'd like to do is I'd like to make our announce their third place winner, Bob Durgan.
Everybody get their pictures.
Oh,
Timothy, get over.
Come on up on the stage, please. Try it again, guys.
oh, Joey?
Oh, thank you.
Now for our second place winner for the evaluation contest for District 8. Our second place winner is David Mallory. Congratulations, David. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for. The first place winner for the district evaluation contest is presented to John Murphy.
I feel like getting buckshots.